Yeah, this is gonna be really fun because apparently the same day after I make this the same day after I make this fucking video, apparently dipshit got so triggered with the fact that the situation even happened, he started freaking out because the best thing to do is to take something upon yourself to take an issue with some random shit and then personally decide that you then need to have a problem with it. And before you start saying, you're following my channel, no, you literally pop up in notifications when you share someone else's stuff. You brain dead Neanderthal. It's the same reason that when I shared this on my community tab just to see the stupid shit you were saying and showing it to other people, that's the same reason that I might pop up in your notification feed. Unlike you, I don't need to be fucking facetious about everything. Alright, here we go. It's ironic that you claim to advocate for mental health while telling others to harm themselves. It's weird that you don't specify that those others are people who are openly trying to libel, slander, harass, and do shit to people that would otherwise warrant someone to be antagonized and pissed at somebody. It's also weird that you seemingly ignore the fact that you've done the same shit to other people over literally nothing more but someone just simply saying, I think your ideas are a load of shit. Like, you don't get to claim that, well, I am the moral arbiter when you have a long and sordid fucking history of harassing women online, harassing myself, harassing people I'm associated with. You openly allowed, like, you doxed me on Stetson's retarded ass little Facebook fan page, going so far as to try to circulate my address around. But remember, all that is perfectly fine because you've decided that it's fine. However, if I point out the fact that you did all that shit and say that you're a complete cum rag sniffing fucking loser for doing that shit, that for some reason means that I deserve to get fucking flogged for it. Because apparently it's only okay if you do something shitty, but if I commentate on something you do and call it shitty, it gives you a reason to run to YouTube's fucking administrators and fucking cry. And don't say, well, I have special needs. I don't understand what I'm doing. If you don't understand what you're doing, then get the fuck off the internet, you dumb fuck. If your brain is so fucking cooked like a Brussels sprout that you can't do anything without considering possible backlash, you shouldn't be on the fucking internet. When I fucked up and made that dumbass mistake I did years ago, I didn't sit there and say, sorry, I'm retarded, I didn't know what I did. Like, no, dude, I was like, fuck, I really fucked up, I'm sorry. That was really fucked up of me. Like, I didn't try to fucking pretend that I was too stupid to understand what I did. I didn't try to sit there and act like I didn't fuck up. I took responsibility, apologized, and got the fuck off the internet until I felt like I was mature enough and calm enough to actually learn to handle discourse and conflict. I took the time to grow up. Like, and what have you done? Needlessly accost people for years because they said your opinions were brain dead and ill conceived. Like I like forget the part where you like emailed me like a dozen or so times with one of your email accounts that you've manufactured so it couldn't be tied to you. Basically trying to threaten me with ISIS beheading videos because apparently that's supposed to make someone take you seriously when you come off like some unhinged fucking schizophrenic. And then another thing you seem to forget is like the people I'm referring to are people that are like pedophiles or child molesters or people that advocate for being one of those. But remember, you just have this thing where your memory seems to just lapse whenever your judgment is possibly proven to be completely faulty because you seemingly ignore the people that are being lambasted for their actions and you prefer to pretend that it's for no fucking reason because you're a twat. Your actions reveal hypocrisy. Just a day before your so-called anti-suicide video, you made comment asking someone to off themselves. Well, here's the thing. Was I really doing that, or was I just making a shitty remark at the person's expense because they were themselves were also being a shitty little cunt? More importantly, why is it that you want to pretend to be this arbiter of what is and is not appropriate or what is and is not hypocritical, when the moment you go around harassing people and trying to cause them some level of distress or discomfort, you're basically sitting there, I'm retarded, so nothing I do is my fault. But if someone uses your face, which you publicly posted on a platform, simply pointing out the fact that you were a fucking retard that covered his face full of Sharpie and danced around to a racist song, your then response is to say, sorry, but that doesn't need to be on the internet because it makes me look shitty. Well, make up your mind. Like, why is it okay for you to drag shit from other people's past and hit them over the head with it, for example, but it's not okay for someone to point out shit that you did much sooner than that, more recently compared to that? And the thing is, though, you're completely unabashed about having done it, despite the fact that you know that this, like doing that in your country could result in you being actually arrested. But the fact is, you don't have the right to try to bitch about hypocrisy because you're the biggest hypocrite in the room. You're more than willing to say awful shit about people who've died in someone's life and attack them over it, but at the same time, if someone makes fun of you for anything at all, you run to the administrators and fucking cry. Because you're a fucking cry bully. You also accuse someone of being me, which is so obviously not. Well, here's the thing. It's not really that I don't really care if it's you or not you, because honestly, even if they're not you, I don't give a fuck. They act just like you do with their retarded fucking obsession to constantly tag other people and shit and constantly antagonize any way that you can. Like, the only difference between them and you is that they're just a fucking weirdo with a borderline furry profile picture. That's the only difference between them and you. They're both fucking. Both of you are annoying fucking wastes of oxygen that seemingly just exist to be a fucking headache for everyone around you. So even if it's not you, which I will entertain the notion that it might not be, it's still a useless sack of shit. So you're still the same person, even if you're not physically. You're the same person, personality, because you both make up the same dipshit, sad attention horror, incel, cryboy archetype. You're the reason people swarm to my channel just to spew their hate. No, the reason people storm to your channel is because you say shitty fucking things. People oppose the shitty fucking things that you say. And then you, instead of asking why they oppose the shit you say, you cry about it and try to make it everyone else's problem that you got ridiculed for saying shitty things. You are responsible for the things you say. You're responsible for the things that you will respond to. You're responsible for how you respond to people saying things back to you. People are not spewing, hey. They're simply saying that you're a whiny bitch who's not dealing with his problems in an effective manner because you're blaming other people for the things that you go through that are not their fucking fault. This makes you the perpetrator, not the victim. I never said I was the victim. You're literally just saying that I said something I never fucking said. You're basically just accusing me of claiming that I'm something I never said during that entire video about this whole fucking debacle. Projection much? It's clear you aren't genuinely concerned about mental health, about mental well-being. Again, just because I ridicule someone and say shitty things about them doesn't mean I'm not concerned about people who are genuinely struggling with shit that's not their fucking fault. They just genuinely feel that way about themselves for no real fucking reason because they're just frustrated with where they are in life because they wish they would have been further on compared to where they are now. That is not the same thing as being a whiny little fucking twat who looks for fucking attention by being an annoying little shit to everyone and then has the nerve to stamp their foot and have a tantrum whenever someone just says, go fuck yourself, you're annoying. If you don't know the difference between someone who's genuinely struggling because of something that's not within their control and the person who's struggling only because they surround themselves with shit they constantly provoke, then that's entirely on you. It is literally no one else's fault that you're so mentally fucked that your only argument about everything is, well, I need to pretend these two things are exactly the same. Because they're not. They're not exactly the same. One of these things is literally someone having issues they have no control over that they would like to seek help for, but they just don't know who they can turn to because they're afraid that if they speak out about their issues, they'll be minimalized or ridiculed or looked down on them. And then there's being someone like you who has every capacity to stop what the fuck they're doing, question their course of action, and do anything at all to maybe change it. But instead of that, you want to bitch and gripe about every little negative thing that happens to you in your life because of your actions or inactions. When you act like a creepy little fucking stalker to people, for example, it makes people dislike you. When you have a long and sordid history of posting Shotokan on your fucking Twitter like a creepy fucking nonce, people tend to remember that. When you go around trying to dox people and threaten to kill them and shit because they catch you associating with a fucking child predator, None of these things are the fault of others but yourself, because you're doing this shit out in front of everyone and then trying to brag about it like it's an accomplishment. And then when people give you a lashing over it, you're the first person to fucking cry about it. Despite the fact that you knew full well all of this shit was going to result in some sort of fucking fallout on your end. There was going to be some sort of consequence that was going to come from this. It doesn't matter if you didn't assume it was going to be immediate or if it was going to be delayed. The fact is, you were well aware something could come of this that would be negative. But you continued to do it all anyway. And then for some reason you have the nerve to be pissed off and antagonized when people just simply look at you and say, you did a bunch of fucked up things, you have no right to bitch about anything. And the thing is, though, you have not grown. You have not grown in the years that you've done that shit compared to now. There is no fucking change. Literally none. Because you're still making these stupid fucking crybaby nanny goat fucking bitchy posts where you complain about things that are nobody else's fault but yours for not doing anything with your life. You're literally just sitting there, well, Eric Minasian and Elliot Roger, they were heroes. No, they weren't. They were a pair of fucking losers who killed innocent people because they couldn't get over their fucking problems. Everyone has difficulties, but the difference is most sane people have the capacity to say, what the hell am I doing, before they even go out and do shit like that, because they actually have a moment where they sit down and think about what is and is not going to be the consequence of making that decision that they can't come back from. Sometimes it's just yelling at someone that made them angry. Sometimes it's just them deciding just not to do something that they would otherwise normally do that may have a consequence if they don't do it. But with those two little fucks, like, they weren't concerned about the consequence to others because they were more concerned with getting payback on a world that they felt had wronged them. And yet at the same time, you're the same fucking person who sings these people's praises as though these people were anything else but a pair of fucked up losers. There's nothing good about anything these people were, and for some reason you want to glorify them. Practice what you preach, and cut out with the drama around here. Oh, shut your fucking ass, you greasy bitch. You have the least right to bitch about cutting out drama, considering most of your online activity for the last 3 years was you actively saying things to provoke people because you're a fucking twat who has literally no life and no fucking friends. Take a drink. Seriously, you associate with people that are so fucked up, they actively brag about being child predators, and for some reason you're trying to act like the acquaintanceships and relationships that you maintain like this somehow aren't reflective of yourself. They are. Now, it's not necessarily always a wise choice to judge someone by the company they keep, because sometimes a person might genuinely be ignorant, as to their actions of their friends or their acquaintances. And people might genuinely misunderstand the level of association a person can have with somebody else. But with you, there is no misunderstanding. You openly promoted the lies and libelistic claims of a legitimate psychotic pedophile who has openly harassed members of my family before and tried to get members of my family harassed outside of the internet over stupid shit. And yet for some reason you're going to lecture me about ethics and morals when it comes down to whether or not a person has the right to say mean shit to somebody. Grow the fuck up. You're literally just bitching about a nothing burger and saying the nothing burger should take away from the message of something that was more or less more positively received than anything you've ever contributed to this fucking planet. And I'm not trying to do this to turn into some sort of pissing contest. I'm doing this because genuinely nothing you've ever done has been wholesome or helpful to anyone. Because all you've ever done online is just be a fucking fleshlight for people that are mentally fucked up, just like you. Or you try to turn other people into your fucking punching bags whenever you have a shitty day because your life is so empty and meaningless that all you can do is look for other people to, beat over the fucking head with shit that's not your fucking business. I mean, the only difference between you and Ronnie Vane is that Ronnie Vane's a neo-Nazi. That's the only real difference. You're both a pair of little fuck-ups who have no lives, no families, no friendships. We're the fuck, apparently. But the fact is, it's not hypocritical to say mean shit. You're just whining because it's said in your general direction, or that someone suspects the person responsible could be you, behind that other account. That's the main concern. You're not really trying to stand up for people that you feel are being misrepresented or being unjustifiably persecuted by me, for example. A lot of it is basically just you wanting to defend your honor. Instead of lashing out at the person who's actually trying to assume your identity, you're lashing out at me instead because it's easier because you're dying for the fucking attention.